Welcome to Stocks and Screens, where we talk about investing, trading, TV, movies, and video games. It's been it's been almost a month since we did the first interview. Now we're on to the second one.
Yeah.
I forget exactly what we were talking about, but we might have been talking about like some things that were happening a month ago that might not even be relevant, like the Dogecoin before it ran up, or AMC before the run. But
right.
What have you have you been trading AMC or Doge, any of that kind of all the new hype?
Actually, yeah, I traded. I made $500 on AMC trading options on AMC one day.
Wow! Options, nice. So what have you been doing in crypto? I know crypto was a big thing last month.
Crypto.
Oh.
Now, since before Amy came on, my Robinhood account is split between two things. I was doing crypto trading with half the account, and the other half is in Tesla, which crashed today. Yay. My crypto there, though, I bought Doge at 56 cents, and it's still sitting there because it crashed right after I bought it. Went down to what, 19 cents or something at one point?
At one point, yeah. Now I think it's in the 40-cent range.
Yeah, it's back up in the 40s. Now I try to catch it now that I can trade it on Webull. See, before you couldn't. Webull wasn't really good for trading Doge, and I didn't know I had to have Webull set me up for crypto trading. Now I'm all set up on Webull. I can trade there too, and I've done a few things with Amy, but until Robinhood and Webull have a stop loss on it, I don't like trading crypto.
That's definitely fair, unless you're just scalping, unless you're able to stare at the screen. It is kind of nerve-wracking without that stop loss there.
Yeah, I know. The one day I sat here and I'm staring at the screen. Okay, I'm up a penny, down a half a penny. I'm up a half a penny, I'm down a penny. And it finally ran up. I made 2 pennies. I was like, yes, sell.
That's great. Yeah, you're always just hoping for that, not to have a big red candle.
Oh, luckily it ran up, and I was tired of staring at it for an hour, and I said, yes, I made 2 pennies, and clicked it. So
I'll take it.
I'll take it. I'm done for the night. I'm going to go take my shower and go to bed. Crypto's where I started 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
3 years ago.
Bitcoin must have been $10,000 or something like that.
No, I bought my first Bitcoin. I bought, I think, $600. It was around $600 when I bought into my first Bitcoin.
Jeez. Wow, that appreciated nicely since then.
Yeah, but I only kept it and then sold it. This is where you tell a beginning trader and a more advanced trader, and then hopefully someday I'll be a real experienced trader like the other guys. But
it takes time.
Yeah. Well, when I first got into it, it was, okay, Bitcoin. Father-in-law was after me because he wanted to start a mining company. And then he found out how much it was going to cost him. And in the Philippines, you have to do that times 10 because that's the difference in money, which is 2 million American dollars.
Jeez.
We're talking 2018, 19. He wanted to start a Bitcoin mining company. Yeah, he wanted to start where they could just start mining different coins, and because somebody had told him it's this and that, and I'm like, well, let me study it for a while and see what I can do. And then I got into it, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm making $1 here and $2 there. It's not very profitable, Who would have thought it was going to run up to 50,000?
I know, yeah.
The $2,000, $3,000 I had back then in it, actually, between my wife and I, we probably, I don't know if we hit, a couple $100,000 by now, because we would have had 4 or 5 coins,
Right.
I was introduced to Forex, so I switched from Bitcoin and opened a Forex account. I started trading currencies. So I went from Bitcoin, currencies, and Bitcoin I never understood.
Okay.
I don't know. I still to this day don't know how these guys are looking at it.
Well, yeah, luckily now we can chart the Bitcoin and all that on Webull, and but as far as the fundamental, that I have no idea how Bitcoin fundamentally works.
Right, and I still don't today. And it sounds like Amma Jamma knows how all that stuff
She does.
goes together. And I'm like, okay, how do you figure that out? I mean, but Forex was like, oh my God, my eyes are opened. It was like, oh, if the economy goes down, the currency's going to go down, and if another economy is going to go up, is going up. So you listen to the news, and if they say, well, the U.S. dollar just dropped and just went up, you buy the yen over the U.S. dollar, and you wait for it to separate a little bit and then sell it, make money. There was something there that you could look at. I made a little more than I made on, the Bitcoins and stuff, but I still wasn't making much. And then I kind of got out of everything. I had a friend say, hey, why don't you get on Webull and get a free stock? You can just at least leave the stock there, and if it goes up, you make some money on it, Plus, it'll give me a free stock, and so I'm helping my friend out. Yeah, okay, here, I'm Robin Hood. And he said, oh, do Webull too. So I did Webull too. Got him a free stock there and got my free stock.
Right.
Which, was Levi Strauss.
As it always, yep.
And then I got my son into it. He got CMEX, which actually seems like a pretty good company. He got his at, I think it was like $3 or $4 when they gave it to him. It's up to 15 now.
Oh wow, that's good.
But he won't sell that share. He says that's my first share. I'll never sell it. I'll keep it till I die.
That's like a good luck thing or sentiment. Yeah.
Yeah. Then my wife found this Discord group called Pennybois. I'm like, why do I need to get into stock trading? And she's like, because you're always on the computer working. You could have it open on one of your screens and just keep an eye on it all day. And if something happens, you could sell it while you're working. But then as time went on, I went back to being a free member, getting just the free calls. And I'm like, this sucks. I loved all them other calls. And then you guys announced Pennybois University.
Oh, the university.
I went, I need to take those. So I spent the money, started PBU, and got some knowledge. And
you graduated with a good, you were on the top of the class too, I remember.
Yeah. Well, you got to think, even in my college course, because I have 4 college degrees or magna cum laude.
Wow.
So a degree in business administration, it was accounting and business administration. A lot of time went by and started my own construction company and things. And then in 2007, 2008, we had the market crash. Well, being a general contractor and having all my money stuck into homes and that, I lost over $750,000 and ended up being in the poorhouse and losing all my trucks and equipment and stuff like that. So it was like out of a job in my late 40s, and I went to work for Lowe's and took low-paying jobs and stuff like that. Never could find a really good job after that. After working for yourself, it's hard to work for anybody else. Talking with my sister one day, and she says, why don't you become one of those people who go through and do coding for medical? And I'm like, I'll check into it. And I was talking to somebody at the college, and they say, you have these other degrees, why don't you just become a healthcare administrator? And I'm like, well, how do I do that? Well, you get a degree in healthcare administration. And I'm like, oh, okay. Started that, finished it with a 3.96 GPA. Then I applied for work, and I applied to like 40, 50 places. And everybody was saying, nope. And talked to one guy finally, and he said, didn't put in your resume that you have your RN degree. And I'm like, what do you mean, my RN degree? I want to be an RN. I want to be a healthcare administrator. And he goes, oh, you can't be. I'm like, what do you mean I can't be? He goes, didn't anybody tell you that to be a healthcare administrator, you either have to be you must have been a doctor, a nurse, a PA, or something in the medical field in order to be a healthcare administrator. So if you want to be a healthcare administrator, you need to go back and get your RN degree, minimum.
Jeez,
I'm like,
more degrees.
Another degree. I'm like, I don't want to be a nurse. So I finished that, and I'm like, what the heck else am I going to do? I was doing something, I don't remember how I got into it. I got the crazy idea of getting my MBA because I'm an older person. I was almost 50 years old at the time, or just turned 50, I can't remember. And I'm like, let's see, maybe I can get an MBA and get into management, heavy management, big management. So I went through 2 years of getting my MBA, and I'm sitting there and I put out probably 600 resumes and nothing. And then all of a sudden, the company called me. I had just started applying to anything and everything construction because that's what my background was in. And I figured, well, maybe I'll get lucky and get a management, into management and some type of a construction company. Now that I have all this business knowledge, I can help somebody grow. The company called me and they go, we see that you've had your own business and stuff, and we're looking for an estimator to do, there's so many foreclosures out there right now. We need somebody to estimate foreclosures that are held by Fannie Mae and Fannie Mac and get them rehabbed and brought back up to specs so they can get them sold. Okay, how much does it pay? They told me $15 an hour. And I'm like, oh, yay. Now, $15 an hour don't even pay my college loans. And so I went to work for them because I had to have a job. I worked there about a year, and I'd been putting out feelers, resumes, and stuff. And then the company I work for now called me, and I never applied to this company. Said, we found you here, and we see you have construction experience. Would you like to come talk to us about a job? And I'm like, sure. How much does it pay? And the guy's like, well, let us talk to you first. And needless to say, this was more money than I've ever made at any other job in my life except for when I owned my own construction company. Anyways.
Oh, right. The screens, right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that part. I'm into like the stereotypical, nerdy, Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, all that good stuff, Star Wars.
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
That was me. I watched every one of Harry. I was the first one going to the theaters.
Really? The last one
I bought the whole set.
Oh, yeah? What's your favorite?
And now you think I can find it?
Oh, no.
It's gone.
You have a favorite?
Of the Harry Potters?
Yeah.
No, I really got mad at the lady who wrote it because I wanted Harry and Hermione together.
Okay.
I always thought Harry and Hermione would be the best to do that. And then they put her with Mouth or whatever.
Ron.
Ron.
What's wrong with Ginny?
Ginny was the little sister.
She was cool in the books.
She was okay, but she was never the big name, and it was kind of like, oh, this is a behind the scene romance, darn it. I still think they need to do a Harry Potter 2 series.
Well, they did that prequel, didn't they? Like the Grindelwald or something like that?
Well, yeah, they did
Beast or something. I'm not quite sure exactly what the name was, but
Fantastic Beast or something.
Yeah.
And, but it wasn't the same. Harry Potter wasn't just part of the show. Harry Potter and Hermione and Ron, they were the character of the show. When they had more of it go on with the Fantastic Beasts and that, it just wasn't the same because it didn't have them even in the background.
Yeah, it was hard to fill those shoes.
Yeah, and of course the time frame was different. Supposedly the Fantastic Beasts were before the Harry Potter. At least that's the way it looked to me. It was more.
Yeah. I think it was supposed to be before it, yeah.
Yeah, it was like the 1920s or something like that. Or Harry Potter wasn't more full modern day, but it still wasn't
Oh yeah, it was supposed to be like way before the first, I think
the 1800s
war was
early.
Yeah, something like that.
So, yeah. But anyways. I'm just as big of a nerd as you then.
Fair enough. You know what's funny? The funny thing is, though, so far everybody who I've done these stocks and screens with, like, knows about like Marvel and like is into like the Marvel and like the Star and like all that kind of stuff. So like I've yet to have one so far, with someone who like I haven't talked a little bit Marvel or DC or something like that with yet.
Right.
Like they really, it's because I know like back in the day like Marvel like was like it was a pretty niche thing, like it was only like only like, the superhero nerds knew about like the shows and the movies, and now it's like it's pretty like everyone knows about it now, like even Star Wars. So I think Disney is a big reason because of it, but like I feel like it's like it's a very like everyone knows who Iron Man is now, everyone knows who all these characters are. It's not just the people who read the comics or whatever,
Before all this stuff, you were Batman with Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton as Batman? Yeah, I watched it. Was it good? It was okay, but you could tell it was Michael Keaton, and you were like, it don't fit him. But it did. So
who is your favorite Batman, and who is your favorite Joker as far as the actors go?
The original was the best Batman.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because the other guys were mainly only one or two timers, which tells me they could get anybody to play. I could play Batman.
Yeah, I think they have like that Twilight guy playing him now, Robert Patterson. How about Joker?
The Joker? No, the original Joker.
Really? Even more than Heath Ledger?
Oh yeah.
My favorite's Mark Hamill. I know it's the voice, but he's only the voice in the animated series. But I don't know. Whenever I think of Joker, I think of Mark Hamill's voice, like in the animated series. Speaking of characters, I have to say I think that Robert Downey Jr. like is Iron Man, like or is Tony Stark. Like he plays him so perfectly.
Yeah, he did. He played a good Tony.
Yeah.
But that's the way he is in real life.
Exactly. Yeah. Like he's just like that. It seems.
I know
like
he wasn't acting. He was just acting out his life. Yeah, I'm rich. I got money. Hey, come on. I can do this all day long. This is the way I am at home. So why can't I do it here and get more money?
He was born for it. I know he had a rough start, but he definitely was born for that role.
Of course, he didn't do all the action stuff for the
Spider-Man, or Tom Holland does his own stunts apparently.
All of them that aren't life-threatening.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then they tap him. They tap out.
Yep. No, I'm not. You're not throwing me that far. No, thank you.
It's like I got paid way too much to risk my life that much.
Yeah. Well, we'll put that little harness thing on you and yank you with the rope thing, that's hidden in the show. But and you're only gonna fly 35, 40 feet. You'll be fine. That's okay. Done, man. Okay. Double. Where are you at?
That'd be a
I do have a favorite all-time actor.
Okay.
No longer with us. That's John Wayne.
Okay.
I've watched every one of his Western movies. I've watched every one of his war movies. Watched all of his romance movies. John Wayne was the actor.
Oh, he was in the Alamo, right?
The Alamo.
Okay, I've seen
Flying Tigers. I can go on and on all day. I've watched so many movies in my entire life. It's crazy. I watch all Jackie Chan movies.
Okay. Rush Hour.
Rush Hour, yeah. Rush Hour was a good one.
Karate Kid.
And then he did New Karate Kid or something like that.
With Will Smith's kid. Have you watched the new Karate Kid series, Cobra Kai?
No. I started watching that. I was going to watch it, and I played the trailer, and I was like, guys, you destroyed this show.
Oh. I don't know. I thought it wasn't so bad.
I need to watch an episode.
Yeah.
I need to watch an episode of it.
It grows on you.
They do have the original bully in there.
They have a lot of the original people in there, actually. There's a lot of, they bring back a lot of people throughout the whole show.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming on. I appreciate you talking about the stocks, talking about the screens. We got into a lot of good stuff today, and the other day as well.
As always, it's my pleasure to be here, and Pennybois has been there for me so far, and I can't wait for the Gneo University advanced classes to start because I need to tone my trading a little more so that I'm making more bread.
Yeah, I personally am also looking forward to them. Like Pookie's, I mean, I see your name all the time in the live trading chats with Pookie's Revenge and Oasis and Amma Jamma, and I cannot wait to see what they put out as far as those advanced trading classes go. I know I'm going to learn a lot from it personally.
Yeah, I mean, I go in there, I'm not able to do much or talk, ask as much questions as I would like because I'm working my regular job at the same time. But, I at least have it on so that I'm gaining some knowledge through the cranium, as they're talking about it. So,
like listen to like a live podcast while you're working.
Exactly. I picked up quite a bit.
Well, thank you for coming on this podcast. Soon to be podcast. Currently, it's on YouTube, but appreciate you coming on. Thank you for joining us in Stocks and Screens. We'll see you next week, same time, same place.